Hey everyone, I'm back, and today we're going to be talking about Scarface. And this movie came out in 1983 and stars Al Pacino, Michelle Pfeiffer, and I enjoyed it overall. I've seen this movie once before, and I'm just going to sum up what I thought about it the first time watching it really quickly. I really enjoyed the first 2 hours of the movie back then, and I thought it was really great and really well handled, and it was really engaging for me. But the third act of the movie, or the last however long of the movie, I was completely bored and uninvested, and I just wanted it to end. And mainly because it was just the same thing happening over and over again. It was very repetitive to me, and nothing was happening really. And like the final action scene I liked, but it just made it really difficult for me to come back to this movie. And then I realized I hadn't reviewed this movie, so I decided to come back to it. And also, one other thing, I gave it a 7 out of 10 the first time I saw it, but unfortunately it wasn't a 7 this time. But I still like a decent amount of it, and there are definitely elements that I appreciate about it. I think the performances are great, and there's some nice things that go on in this movie. I enjoyed the violence. I thought it was well handled. I think the story overall is interesting, and this movie is almost 3 hours long, and you would think in a 3 hour long movie there would be a lot of things going on, but there's kind of less going on than you would probably expect, in my opinion. And there's lots of characters in the movie, but I do feel as though some of those characters don't need to be in the movie at all, and they're kind of pointless, and they're just there to add more drama to the situation. While I'm watching the movie, I just don't feel much for it, because one, it's the same stuff I've seen 100 times already, and two, even though it is incredibly reminiscent to things I've seen before, there's nothing new added to this movie, and that like makes it unique or justified. It just feels like another film in that pile, but more well made. I'll give it that much. I will never say that this is a bad movie. It's just one that doesn't connect with me all that much, and that mostly has to do with the fact that I don't really connect to the characters or what they're doing. It's like I'm entertained by their performances and, some ideas for the situation, but a lot of it is just like spelled out and like really in your face, and there's nothing really subtle about a lot of things going on. And I found that to be kind of annoying, and I do feel as though because it kind of just spells everything out for you, then it kind of just makes the replay value kind of bad, and it just hurts it so much. And also, without spoiling anything, I don't think I'm spoiling anything by saying that characters die in this movie, but when they do, I just feel nothing. I really don't care about the characters who died. I didn't feel like, oh, come on, why'd you kill off that character? Like, that's a character that I cared about. Now he's gone. In this movie, that's not the case, really. It's like, oh, that character died. Okay, we're still moving along, but I can't get invested in any of the characters in this movie because I just don't find them that interesting, and that's a major problem for me. And I wasn't bored by this movie, I'll give it that much. It wasn't painful like the first time I watched it, when we got to the last however long of the movie, like the last hour. Like, I wasn't bored by it, mostly because I knew what to expect probably, and because of that I was able to just like feel as though it flew by. I was like, okay, that happened, and not feel like, oh, what's gonna happen next. I feel like this is such a drag, and it's such a downhill spiral from what we had later, and it honestly just felt like consistent with the rest of the movie. It's like the whole movie was just like passing me by, and it was decent, and lots of choices that it made were decent, I guess, for like what they're going for. And I just felt as though it was like the same as the rest of the movie. And I haven't even mentioned Michelle Pfeiffer is in this movie, and she has a lot of screen time in this movie, but she has nothing to do, and she's basically just a tool to like spell out information that we can already pick up just by watching the movie and thinking about it. It's not difficult to figure out what is supposed to be implied, but they feel as though they need to like dumb it down so you all understand what is supposed to be implied here and what is going on with the characters, and that was kind of annoying. For the most part, I was able to take this movie seriously, but there was one element of the movie that I found to be just absolutely hilarious, and it's like when our main character, played by Al Pacino, he sees his sister, and she's like going out with some guy, and he sees her like touching her and in ways that he doesn't like, and the camera is just like zooming in on his eyes, and it plays this really cheesy music, and I was cracking up when that happened. I'm not gonna lie, it was ridiculous. And that's about all I have to say about Scarface. There are things to like about it. There are elements to appreciate about it. I do feel as though the world that this movie is set in is very well established, and the performances are really good, and Al Pacino carries this movie pretty well, and it's nice and violent, and I feel like I'm watching something somewhat unique. And I believe this was like one of the most violent movies at the time when it came out. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that was the case, and this movie has some iconic lines, like, say hello to my little friend. Like, that line's pretty funny, and it's iconic, and you probably know why already. But this movie's biggest problem is that I just didn't connect with it, and I'm probably never going to watch it again, mostly because it's just so long. And if I'm going to watch a movie that's going to be almost 3 hours long, then I would like to be invested in what's going on, and there's plenty of movies that I would watch that can be considered long. Like, a lot of movies I love are like over 2.5 hours long. But when I watch the movie, I don't feel the runtime. Whereas this movie, I kind of feel the runtime, and it's just not justified to me. And with all that being said, I'm going to give Scarface a 6 out of 10. Thank you for watching my videos as always. If you enjoyed this review, be sure to leave a like and comment down below what you thought of Scarface, and my social media links. They will all be in the description, so follow me there. And last but not least, subscribe to be a part of Foley Nation, and I'll see you when I get my next review up, and that is going to be for Won't You Be My Neighbor? So look forward to that, but until I get that up, thank you for watching and have a great day.